Welcome back to my channel, Rare Coins Shop. If you're excited about finding hidden gems in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we're going to uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're diving deep into the fascinating story behind the 1972 United States half-dollar coin, and trust me, this is one coin you'll want to double-check in your collection. Why? Because it might just be worth a small fortune. Stay with me to the end, because you won't believe the kind of money this unassuming coin can command today. Let's start our journey back in the early 1970s, a time of major cultural shifts in the United States. Vietnam protests, Watergate looming in the background, and the American spirit was evolving fast. While all of that was happening, the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of half-dollar coins. One coin in particular from this era, the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar, became much more than just pocket change. It became a hidden gem in the eyes of collectors around the world. The D. Mint mark on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, where it was struck. And while the coin may look like a simple, everyday currency piece, it represents far more. The Kennedy half-dollar was first issued in 1964, shortly after President John F. Kennedy's tragic assassination. Americans wanted a way to honor his legacy, and what better way than placing his image on one of the country's most circulated denominations. The 1972 version of the coin continued that tradition. On the obverse, or the front side, you'll see a bold profile of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His image is proud, stoic, and unmistakable. Turn the coin over, and you'll find the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcasing the presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, a symbol of both strength and peace. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of American heritage. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin stand out in the eyes of collectors. Most 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollars were made for general circulation, and millions were struck. But here's where things get interesting. While the majority are worth only face value or slightly more, a select few, especially those in top-grade uncirculated condition, have become incredibly valuable. And here's why: quality, rarity, and condition. Over time, many coins get scratched, nicked, or worn down by daily use. But if someone happened to stash a pristine 1972 D half-dollar away in a drawer, never touched, never circulated, that coin becomes incredibly rare. Collectors call these MS-graded coins, referring to mint state, coins that have retained their original luster, shine, and sharpness. And if a coin has the perfect combination of luster, strike, and detail, it gets an even higher grade, sometimes MS-67 or MS-68, making it a true standout in the numismatic world. But wait, there's more. Some 1972 D half-dollars are known to have striking errors, like off-center minting, double dies, or planchet flaws. These kinds of mistakes are rare, and collectors go wild for them because they're one-of-a-kind anomalies. They turn a standard coin into a collector's dream. Imagine holding a coin that has traveled nearly half a century through time, flawless, untouched, and possibly even carrying a unique minting mistake that sets it apart from every other coin out there. That's where the real magic, and the real money, comes in. So, what's the value? Well, for most 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollars, if you have one in your change jar, it might be worth 50 cents or maybe a few bucks if it's in decent condition. But if you're lucky enough to have a perfect specimen, an ultra-high-grade, uncirculated coin with sharp detail and no flaws, then you're looking at a coin that could fetch a jaw-dropping $99,000. Yes, you heard that right. $99,000. For a coin that might have slipped through your fingers without you even noticing. So go ahead, check your old collections, that box in the attic, or even your grandparents' coin stash. You never know what hidden treasure might be waiting. And if you happen to find that perfect 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar, well, let's just say your next vacation could be fully funded. Second rare coin, we're turning the pages of time to one of the most iconic coins in American history, the United States half-dollar that proudly bears the dual date 1776 to 1976, struck at the Denver Mint with that little D mint mark. This is not just any coin. This is a coin that was born out of celebration, history, and national pride. But what if I told you that one of these coins, yes, this very $50 that you might have seen in pocket change or a family coin jar, could be worth a life-changing amount of money? Make sure you stay with me until the very end, because we'll reveal just how much one of these patriotic pieces could be worth in today's market. Let's rewind a bit. The year was 1976. America was celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was a time of fireworks, flags, and festivities from coast to coast. The U.S. Mint joined the celebration in the most historic way possible, by redesigning some of the nation's most beloved coins to commemorate 2 centuries of freedom and democracy. Among these was the Kennedy $50. From 1776 to 1976, this coin became more than currency, it became a tribute to the American story. The obverse of the coin still features the strong, elegant profile of President John F. Kennedy, but the reverse was what really set it apart. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the Bicentennial $50 showcases a stunning design of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the birthplace of American liberty. This design was crafted by Seth G. Huntington, and it's not just a building, it's a symbol. Independence Hall is where both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were debated and adopted. To hold this coin is to hold a miniature monument in your hand. It speaks of revolution, resilience, and a nation that dared to dream. Now, you might be thinking, these coins were made in huge numbers, how could one possibly be rare? Well, here's where it gets interesting. While the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy $50 were indeed minted in large quantities, the condition, the mint, and certain rare varieties can turn an ordinary coin into something truly extraordinary. The D on the coin indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities producing coins for circulation. Most of these bicentennial $50 saw regular use, passed through hands, coin rolls, and vending machines, picking up nicks, scratches, and fading over time. But a few, just a few, were preserved. Some were stored carefully, never circulated, never handled. These uncirculated coins, when kept in pristine condition, are known in the collector world as mint state or MS coins, but not all mint state coins are created equal. A coin graded MS 60 is good, MS 65 is excellent, and anything graded MS 67 or higher is truly exceptional. The higher the grade, the sharper the detail, the brighter the luster, and the more desirable the coin becomes. Now, let's take it a step further. Some 1776, 1976 D Kennedy $50 feature rare mint errors or striking anomalies. These include double strikes, misaligned dies, off-center images, or even coins struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. These rare variations are not only unusual, they're often one of a kind. And collectors go absolutely wild for them. So, what do you get when you combine a nationally significant design, historical meaning, high-grade preservation, and maybe even a rare minting error? You get a coin that is no longer worth 50 cents, but far, far more, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. What is the highest price one of these coins has ever commanded? If you happen to possess a flawless 1776, 1976 D Kennedy $50, one in stunning, uncirculated condition, perhaps with a rare error or exceptional strike, then that coin could be worth a staggering $135,000. Yes, you heard me right, $135,000. For a coin you could have passed over without a second glance. So, go check your coin jars, safety deposit boxes, or family heirloom collections. That little piece of American history might just be hiding in plain sight. And if it's in perfect condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Third expensive coin, we're talking about the 1918 United States $50, a coin minted in the wake of World War I, and one that might just be hiding an unbelievable secret, a secret that could be worth a small fortune. Stick with me, because this one is going to take us on a journey through history, art, and the heart of coin collecting. Now, imagine holding something that was created over 100 years ago. Not a photograph. not a letter, but a real, solid, silver coin, passed through the hands of people who lived in a completely different world. The 1918 half-dollar is exactly that kind of time capsule. Minted during one of the most turbulent and transformative periods in American history, this coin is more than just currency, it's a symbol of a nation's resilience. Let's set the scene. The year is 1918. The First World War is drawing to a close. American troops are returning home. The nation is exhausted but proud. This was a time of transition, and with it came a strong desire to honor American ideals, liberty, and unity. Enter the Walking Liberty half-dollar, a design that is now considered one of the most beautiful coins the United States has ever produced. The Walking Liberty design was introduced in 1916 and remained in production until 1947. But the 1918 issue is particularly special. On the obverse, or front of the coin, you'll see Lady Liberty striding boldly toward the dawn of a new day, the American flag draped around her shoulders, an olive branch in hand. It's a powerful, optimistic image, capturing the spirit of a country trying to rebuild and move forward. On the reverse of the coin is a majestic American eagle perched on a mountain crag, wings partially spread as if preparing to take flight. There's strength, freedom, and pride all captured in a single moment of art. This coin wasn't just made to be spent, it was made to inspire. But what makes the 1918 half-dollar so valuable today? For starters, it was struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia, No mintmark, Denver, D mintmark, and San Francisco, S mintmark. While all of them are collectible, certain versions, especially those in pristine, uncirculated condition, are extremely rare. You see, most of these coins were used in everyday transactions. They were passed around during a time when paper bills were still being trusted cautiously and coins were the king of commerce. As a result, the vast majority of 1918 half-dollars are heavily worn. That's normal. But a small number were set aside, untouched by circulation, preserved in near-perfect condition. These coins are what collectors dream of. Grading plays a huge role here. A coin's grade determines how much detail it has retained, how crisp the strike is, how clean the fields are, how bright the luster remains. A 1918 half-dollar in circulated condition might be worth a modest amount, maybe $25 to $100, depending on where. But a coin that's been perfectly preserved, untouched by time, can rise into the ranks of the truly extraordinary. And let's not forget about mint errors. Every now and then, a coin is struck with a defect. Maybe it was double-struck, maybe the die was misaligned, or maybe the planchet was flawed. These mistakes might seem like imperfections, but to collectors, they are rare gems. If a 1918 half-dollar has one of these rare errors and is in excellent condition, the value skyrockets. Think about it. A coin from 1918 that not only survived a century of change but did so without losing its original beauty. A coin that bridges the gap between past and present. A coin that tells a story in silver. That's the kind of treasure that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. If you happen to have one of these stunning 1918 half-dollars in exceptional, mint state condition, possibly featuring a rare error or simply preserved to near perfection, that coin could be worth an astonishing $150,000. Yes, you heard that right. $150,000. Not bad for something that might be sitting quietly in a drawer or tucked away in an old coin collection. So here's your mission: check your old coin collections, talk to your grandparents, visit flea markets, garage sales, anywhere rare coins might turn up. That 1918 half-dollar could be out there, just waiting to be discovered. And who knows? You could be holding history, and a small fortune, in the palm of your hand. Specially, we're going to take a close look at a coin that many people overlook, the 1988 D. Kennedy half-dollar. It might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but hidden among these coins are some rare treasures that could be worth far more than 50 cents. In fact, one of them could be worth an amount that might just leave you speechless. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's explore the story, the rarity, and the hidden value of the 1988 D half-dollar. Let's begin with a little background. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The public response was so emotional, so overwhelming, that the U.S. Mint pushed to release the coin as a tribute to the fallen president. Since then, it has remained a staple in American coinage, though its presence in everyday circulation has gradually faded over the years. Fast forward to 1988. The Cold War was beginning to thaw, Ronald Reagan was finishing his presidency, and the American economy was booming. And in the midst of all this, the Denver Mint struck millions of Kennedy half-dollars. Most people used them in vending machines, casinos, or simply ignored them altogether. But among the sea of coins struck that year, some turned out to be very different from the rest. The design on the 1988 D half-dollar is familiar. On the front, we have the iconic profile of President Kennedy, sharp and proud, surrounded by the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," with the year 1988 beneath his neck. On the reverse is the majestic presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by 50 stars. A symbol of strength, peace, and national pride. But here's where things start to get interesting. While millions of these coins were produced, not all of them are created equal. The key to value here lies in two things: condition and rarity. Most of the 1988 D half-dollars went into circulation immediately. They were spent, tossed in pockets, dropped on sidewalks, scraped in cash registers, you name it. As a result, most of the surviving coins today are heavily worn. But a small percentage were never used. Some were set aside in mint rolls or special collector sets. These coins remained untouched by time, no scratches, no dings, no fading. Collectors refer to these as mint state coins, and they're graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS 60 is considered uncirculated, but an MS 65 or higher? That's where the real magic happens. Only a handful of 1988 D half-dollars have ever been graded at the highest levels, and those coins are incredibly desirable. But wait, there's more. Occasionally, the minting process itself leads to mistakes, what collectors call errors. These could include double strikes, off-center images, or planchets struck on the wrong type of metal. These error coins are extremely rare, and when combined with a high mint state grade, their value can skyrocket. Imagine a coin with the bold strike of a fresh die, no visible flaws, a dazzling luster, and maybe even a unique minting error. It's the kind of find that can transform a simple coin into a centerpiece of a collector's showcase. So how does one know if their 1988 D half-dollar is worth more than face value? First, examine the condition. Look for sharp details in Kennedy's hair, the clarity of the eagle's feathers, and the overall shine of the coin. If there's no wear and it looks nearly flawless, you may have something special. Then, check for any signs of minting errors. And if you think you've got a potential gem, consider getting it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. Now, for the big moment you've all been waiting for. While most 1988 D Kennedy half-dollars are worth just 50 cents or maybe a few dollars in uncirculated condition, one coin, yes, one very special coin, was discovered in pristine condition, featuring an ultra-high mint state grade and possibly a rare error. That single coin, in the right collector's hands, has been valued at a staggering $77,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $77,000. For a coin that could be sitting quietly in a drawer, in a forgotten roll, or even mixed in with your loose change. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your collection. Look through your jars, ask your grandparents, hit the estate sales, and check those coin shop bins. The 1988 D half-dollar might be hiding in plain sight, and if you're lucky enough to find the right one, it could change your life. Now, we're diving into a coin that most people wouldn't give a second look. It's not ancient, it's not from the 1800s, and it wasn't dug up in a gold mine. It's from the not-so-distant past, yet it might just be one of the most surprising pieces in your change jar. We're talking about the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar. That's right, just your everyday half-dollar from the late 90s, or so it seems. But don't let the date fool you. This coin has layers of history, some incredible hidden value, and in rare cases, it can be worth far more than you'd ever expect. So stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll find out why one of these coins could be worth a jaw-dropping $60,000. Now let's rewind for a moment. The year was 1998. The internet was becoming mainstream, the economy was booming, and America was looking ahead to the 21st century. In the world of coinage, the Kennedy half-dollar had already been in circulation for over 3 decades. It was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, and ever since, it's been a staple of American currency, though not one you see in daily use too often anymore. By 1998, half-dollars weren't circulating much. Most people didn't use them, and banks rarely handed them out unless you asked. But the U.S. Mint still produced them, mainly for collectors, and some were released into circulation. One of the key things to know is that the P on the coin stands for the Philadelphia Mint, which struck over 20 million half-dollars that year. But here's where things start to get interesting. Even though millions were minted, not all 1998 P half-dollars are the same. The vast majority were used, scratched, worn down, and forgotten. But a small fraction were perfectly preserved, kept in rolls, sets, or collections, and these coins, in top-notch condition, are where collectors begin to pay attention. The design of the coin is classic. On the front, the powerful and detailed portrait of President Kennedy by Gilroy Roberts. On the back, the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both the readiness for war and the pursuit of peace. It's a coin that reflects America's ideals and legacy, wrapped in simple but powerful symbolism. But here's what really makes the 1998 P half-dollar stand out: quality, condition, and the potential for rare mint errors. If you're holding a coin that's been kept untouched for decades, no fingerprints, no nicks, no dulling, then you might just be looking at a high-grade example. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70, and anything over 65 is considered exceptional. If a 1998 P half-dollar scores a 67, 68, or even that elusive 70, then you've got something truly valuable. And then, there are the rare ones, those with mint errors. These could include double strikes, off-center images, die cracks, or coins struck on the wrong type of planchet. They're incredibly rare, but when they show up, they become instant collector gold. Pair that with a coin in pristine condition, and you've got something remarkable. So what should you look for? Start with sharp details in Kennedy's hair and face. Look for a strong strike on the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Check for full luster and minimal contact marks. And if you suspect a minting error, even a tiny anomaly, it's worth getting it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, most 1998 P half-dollars in average condition are only worth face value. Even uncirculated examples might bring in a few bucks. But every once in a while, one coin rises above the rest. One coin, in absolutely flawless mint state with a rare error or exceptional strike, crosses into the realm of collectors' dreams. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to have one of these extraordinary 1998 P Kennedy half-dollars, graded at the highest level, in brilliant uncirculated condition, or featuring a truly rare minting anomaly, then that coin could be worth an incredible $60,000. Yes, you heard that right, $60,000. For a coin you might have thought was just modern spare change. So here's your challenge: dig through your old change jars, your coin rolls, your family collections. Look at every 1998 P half-dollar with new eyes. Because if you find the right one, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. Last unique coin, we're talking about something that might be sitting in your change jar right now: a simple 1992 Kennedy half-dollar with the P mint mark. At first glance, it may not seem like anything special. It's just another coin, right? Just 50 cents. But stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll learn why a particular 1992 P half-dollar could be worth far more than anyone would expect. Yes, even life-changing money. So don't blink. You might miss a detail that could turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Let's step back in time for a second. The early 1990s in America was a time of transition. The Cold War had just ended, technology was advancing rapidly, and the world was looking toward the future. And right in the middle of this cultural shift, the U.S. Mint continued producing one of the nation's most iconic coins, the Kennedy half-dollar. This coin, first introduced in 1964, was created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination. It quickly became a symbol of American resilience and remembrance. Over the decades, its design remained largely unchanged, a testament to the respect and legacy surrounding the 35th president. The 1992 edition followed that tradition. The 1992 P half-dollar was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P mint mark just above the date. On the obverse, it features a bold and dignified profile of Kennedy. On the reverse, the presidential seal takes center stage, with a powerful eagle, arrows, an olive branch, and 50 stars encircling it, a perfect symbol of the strength and unity of the United States. But now we get to the real question: what makes this coin, from 1992 no less, potentially so valuable? Well, like many coins, the value isn't just in the year or the design, it's in the details. And when it comes to coins, the smallest details can make the biggest difference. For most 1992 P half-dollars, they were mass-produced and used in circulation. They were handed out as change, dropped into vending machines, worn down in wallets, or simply stored away and forgotten. These coins in average circulated condition today are worth only face value, or maybe $1 or $2 if they're in better shape, but a select few 1992 P half-dollars managed to avoid the daily grind. They were carefully preserved, stored in mint rolls, collector sets, or tucked away by someone who just had a feeling. These coins remained untouched, uncirculated, and pristine. And it's in this upper tier, what collectors call mint state, that things get exciting. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. Anything graded above MS 65 is already considered premium quality. But a coin graded MS 67 or higher? That's entering elite territory. The sharper the details, the smoother the surface, and the stronger the original luster, the higher the grade, and the higher the value. But wait, it gets even better. In rare instances, a coin may feature a minting error, a slight variation or mistake made during the production process. It could be an off-center strike, a double die, or a planchet issue. These errors are rare by nature, and when paired with a high-grade condition, they can skyrocket a coin's worth in the eyes of collectors and investors alike. So what should you look for in a 1992 P half-dollar? Examine the details in Kennedy's hair and face. Are they sharp and defined? Look at the eagle's feathers on the reverse. Can you see every line and texture? Does the coin shine with its original luster? And most importantly, does it appear flawless? If so, you might be holding onto something very special now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. While the majority of 1992 P Kennedy half-dollars may never rise above a few dollars in value, there is one known example, graded in a top-tier condition, perfectly struck, and possibly featuring a rare error, that stunned collectors and experts alike. That coin has been valued at a jaw-dropping $65,000, yes, you heard it right, $65,000. For a coin you might easily overlook if you didn't know what to look for. So go ahead, dig through your change jar, search through those old coin rolls, or check the collection your grandparents passed down. Because sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't buried in the ground, they're hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more about hidden gems in American coinage, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you never miss a future discovery. From the rare to the remarkable, we're here to help you uncover the true value of your coins. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting.